Welcome back to UNCF Dayton 500 week 2. So just as a reminder, we've staged these races as part of the UNCF campaign for 2022. This is our second annual race. All the money that we raise from these races goes into our UNCF scholarship campaign for Montgomery County to generate scholarships for deserving youth from our own communities. So we finished week 1, obviously last week, and now we're running a race for week 2. So the winner and the runner-up from week 2 will progress on to our final championship races at the conclusion of the month. So we're going to get started here with week 2. As usual, I'm going to start out with a race of our pace cars, just to check out the track, make sure everything's in good shape. So I'm going to send the pace cars down the track as a check. And everything seems to check out well. So with that, we're going to move into our races in round 1 of week 2. And for our first race, in lane 1, we have Chris Williams from Business Services in the Roadster. And in lane 2, we have Deborah Bellamy from Juvenile Court in the Nissan Fairlady. So again, we've got Chris in lane 1 and Deborah in lane 2. And here we go. And the winner is Chris in lane 1. A very close race. For our next race, Teresa Walker in the Datsun 240Z and Kelly Gears in a Porsche 934 Turbo. So Teresa is from the auditor's office. Kelly is with the Office of Strategic Initiatives. Teresa is in lane 1 and Kelly is in lane 2. Winner is Teresa Walker. For our next race, we have Joseph Sakar, 56 Ford from BCCIT. And we have Don McElroy in a fast 4-wheel drive racer from Board of Revisions. I'm sorry, abbreviation. Don's from Board of Revisions. So we've got Joe in lane 1 and Don in lane 2. And the winner is Joe. For our next race, we have Carrie Gray from the County Commission Office in the Purple Holden. Lori Drain, who was our champion from last week, is back this week with another Volkswagen from HSPD. So we have Carrie in lane 1 and Lori in lane 2. And the winner is Carrie. Our next race, we have Amanda Wheeler from Education in a Chevy Corvette, and Matt Gimperline in a Datsun 240Z from HSPD Team Homeless. Amanda against Matt. Winner is Amanda. Next race, we have Rev 'em Up Piggies in a Plymouth Barracuda from HSPD. Tina Rizash Regal from Adamus in a custom Chevy truck. So we got Jerry against Tina. Winner is Jerry in the truck. I'm sorry, the winner was Tina, my fault. Tina in the truck. I had my names mixed up. Winner was Tina in the truck from Adamus. Thanks to my pit crew for keeping me straight. Next race is Margaret Carper from the prosecutor's office in the blue funny car racer against Sean Galding from the public defender's office in the blue Regal pace car. So we've got Margaret against Sean. Winner is Sean. Next race in round 1, we have back again, Speed Racer Jerry from HSPD in the Nissan Skyline against Deborah Bellamy from Juvenile Court in the Mazda Miata. So we have Jerry against Deborah. Winner is Jerry. For our next race, we have Uchenna Youngblood from BCCIT in a Camaro SS against Clarence Rahman from CED in a Porsche 356. So we have Uchenna against Clarence. In a come from behind win, Uchenna wins the race. Next, Chris Williams is back from Business Services in a Shelby GT Mustang against Stephen Roberts from Board of Elections in a Corvette Grand Sport Roadster. So we have Chris Williams against Stephen. Winner is Chris. Next, from the auditor's office, we have Bill Loy in the fire chief van against Carol Arisman, who was our second place finisher last week. She's back with change of car in a 2012 Ford Fiesta from Human Resources. So we have Bill Loy against Carol Arisman. Winner is Bill Loy in the fire truck. For our next race, Tina Rezash Rogal is back again from Adamus in a Dodge Challenger against Derek Jones in a Honda Civic from BCCIT. So we have Tina against Derek. Winner is Derek. For our next race, we have Jenny Lesniak from HSPD Team Homelessness in Aston Martin against Gwen Eberly for Community and Economic Development in an Acura NSX. So we have Jenny against Gwen. Very close race, we have Jenny. Next, we have Margaret Carper from the prosecutor's office in an El Viento Orange against Karen Wright from CED. No, from CSD, I'm sorry. My eyes are bad. Karen Wright from CSD in a Camaro. So we have Margaret against Karen. Winner is Margaret. For our next race, we have Amanda Wheeler from Education in the Evil Weevil against Deborah Bellamy, Juvenile Court in the 56 Ford wagon. So Amanda against Deborah. Winner is Deborah Bellamy. For our next race, we have Norm Carpenter from BCCIT in the SWAT truck against Joseph Sakar, also from BCCIT, in the fire truck. So we've got two emergency vehicles. We've got the SWAT truck against the fire truck, Norm against Joe. Both of these are BCCIT. Winner is Norm with the SWAT truck. For our next race, we have Bill Loy from the auditor's office in the speed box against Yvetta Hawley from Office of Health Services, Public Health in the Acura. So we have Bill Loy against Yvetta Hawley. Winner is Bill in the speed box. For our next race, we have Jamie Norris from OMB in the Nissan Skyline against Tina Rezash Regal from Adamus in the Ford Falcon race car. So we have Jamie in lane 1, Tina in lane 2. Winner is Jamie. For our next race, we have our auditor, Carl Keith, in the 71 Dodge Challenger against Deborah Bellamy from Juvenile Court in the Mustang. So Carl Keith, lane 1, Deborah Bellamy, lane 2. In a very close race, we have our auditor, Carl Keith, as the winner. Next up, we have Larry Sexton in the Rip Rod Hot Rod against Eric Schaefer from Juvenile Court. So Larry Sexton from Adamus against Eric Schaefer from Juvenile Court. Winner is Eric Schaefer. Next, we have Bruce Barcelo from Adamus in the Camaro convertible, Joseph Sakar in the purple tail dragger from BCCIT. So Bruce against Joe. In a close race, we have Bruce. Next, we have Helen Can't Catch This Jones Kelly in the Corvette C7 from Adamus against Jessica Abernathy from HSPD in a Mercedes AMG. So we have Helen against Jessica. Now we need to restart. My finger got hung up on the start button. We're going to run that one back. Thank you. Sorry about that. My finger got hung on the start button, so we're going to run that one again. We have Helen against Jessica. Got to get my finger out of the way faster. Can it come from behind win? We have Jessica. Next up, we have Julia Gurley in the 68 Nova from Facilities Management against Margaret Carper from the Prosecutor's Office in the Ford GT Racer. So we have Julia against Margaret. Winner is Julia. Next, we have Cedric McGee from Human Resources in the Crate Racer. Oh, I'm backwards. We have Cedric McGee in the Crate Racer against John Payne from Public Health, Chronic Disease Prevention in the McLaren Senna. So we have Cedric against John. Winner is John. Next, we have Kevin Stout from the Auditor's Office in the Toyota Supra against Larry Sexton from Adamus in the Dodge Charger. So we have Kevin against Larry. Winner is Kevin. All right, in our next race, Bethany Colby Laufenberger, BCCIT Nissan 350C against Jessica Jenkins from HSPD Team Homelessness in the Porsche 934 Turbo. So we have Bethany against Jessica. Winner is Bethany. Up next, Kevin Stout is back, this time in a 71 Mustang, the Auditor's Office, against Mary Pat Globig in the Dragon Tail Racer from HSPD. Kevin against Mary Pat. Winner is Mary Pat. Next race, we have Kevin Stevens from BMV in the Chevy Camaro against Larry Sexton from Adamus in the Surf and Turf wagon. So we have Justin Stevens against Larry Sexton. Winner is Justin. For our next race, we have Doug Thompson from the Adams Board in the Dodge Daytona against Michelle Pierce Mobley from Stillwater in the High Beam Racer. So we have Doug against Michelle. Winner is Doug Thompson. Next up, we have Marcia Baskin from the Recorder's Office in the Leeway Racer against Tina Rizash Rogal from Adamus in the 65 Impala. So we have Marcia against Tina. Winner is Marcia. For our next race, we have Alice Reed from Stillwater in the 57 Roadster against Dan McNeil in the Burgermobile from BCCIT. So we have Alice against Dan. Winner is the Burgermobile by Dan. Next up, we have Chris Williams from Business Services in the Carbonic race car against Larry Sexton in the Carbonator race car from Adams. So we have Chris, Business Services, against Larry from Adams. Winner is Larry Sexton from Adams. For our next race, we have Kevin Stout in the Tesla Model 3 from the Auditor's Office against Billy Richardson in the Lamborghini from the Montgomery County Municipal Courts. So we have Kevin in lane 1 against Billy in lane 2. Winner is Billy. Next up in lane 1, we have Doug Thompson from Adamus in the Mitsubishi Eclipse against Norm Carpenter from BCCIT in the Drag Mercury. So we've got Doug in lane 1, Norm in lane 2. Winner is Doug Thompson. For our next race, we have Vic Vrabel from Adamus in the Nissan GT against Wendy Hockenberry from Human Resources in the Honda. So we got Vic in lane 1, Wendy in lane 2. Winner is Wendy. Next race, we have Jessica Abernathy from HSPD in the Toyota Supra against Commissioner Judy Dodge from BCC in the Volkswagen Beetle. So we have Jessica against Commissioner Dodge. Winner is Jessica. For our next race, we have Helen Can't Catch This Jones Kelly from Adamus in the Honda Civic against Sheriff Rob Streck in the Lamborghini lane 2. So we have Helen from Adamus lane 1, Sheriff Streck lane 2. In a very close race, we have Helen. Next up, we have Margaret Carper from the prosecutor's office in the Track Hammer. Sheriff Rob Streck is back immediately in the squad patrol car. So we have Margaret, lane 1, Sheriff Streck, lane 2. Winner is Sheriff's Direct. Next up, Kevin Stout is back from the auditor's office in a Ford Focus. Uchenna Youngblood is back from BCCIT in the Green Viper. So Kevin against Uchenna. Winner is Kevin. Next race, Doug Thompson from Adamus in the Mustang Hot Rod against our auditor, Carl Keith from the auditor's office in the Corvette Stingray convertible. Doug against Carl. Winner is Auditor Carl Keith. For our next race, we have Doug Jones from BCCIT in the Chevy Nomad against Margaret Carper from the prosecutor's office in the El Viento. So we have Derek against Margaret. Winner is Margaret. For our next race, we have Melinda Cheney from Adamus in the Chevelle SS. And we have Sarah Fields, our champion, overall champion from last year, from Child Support in the Volkswagen Beetle. Melinda against Sarah. And Sarah is the winner. And here in our next race, we have Liz Mahar from HSPD in the Barracuda against Tawana Jones from Community Economic Development in the Z-Rod. So we have Liz against Tawana. Winner is Liz. For our next race, we have Jim Brandenburg from BCCIT in the Monte Carlo against Helen, Can't Catch This Jones Kelly from Adamus in the Riviera. So we have Jim against Helen. Winner is Jim. Next up, we have John Parks from OMB in the Buick Grand National against our auditor, Carl Keith, who is back in a Ford Mustang GT. So we have John Parks against auditor Carl Keith. Winner is John Parks. For our next race, we have Jessica Abernathy from HSPD in the 58 Corvette against Jenny Lisniak, also from HSPD, from Team Homelessness in the Toyota Supra. So we have Jessica against Jenny. Winner is Jenny. Our next race, as we're winding down round one, we have Helen back from Adamus in the 64 Riviera. And we have Claire Oswald from HSPD in the 1950 Mercury. So we have Helen against Claire. We have Helen as the winner. We had a wipeout in lane 2. And for our final race in round one, we have Rita Harden for Administrative Services in a Nissan NSX. And we have John Parks from OMB in the 70 Chevelle SS. So we have Rita in lane 1 and John in lane 2. The winner is Rita. And that wraps up round one. We're back in a minute with round two. And now we're moving into round two of the Dayton 500 Race for Education for UNCF in week two. So for our first race in round two, we have Chris Williams from Business Services in the Roadster against Teresa Walker from the Auditor's Office in the Datsun 240Z. Chris against Teresa. Winner is Teresa. Next up, we have Joe Sakar from BCCIT in the 56 Ford against Carrie Gray from the County Commission Office in the Purple Holden. Joe against Carrie. Winner is Carrie. Next up, Amanda Wheeler from Education in the Chevy Corvette against Teresa Rizash Regal from Adamus in the custom Chevy truck. Amanda against Tina. Winner is Amanda. Next, we have Sean Galding from the Public Defender's Office in the Buick Regal Police Cruiser against Speed Racer Jerry Pegues from HSPD in the Nissan Skyline. So we have Sean against Jerry. In a very close race, Jerry is the winner. Next, Uchenna Youngblood from BCCIT in the Camaro against Chris Williams, Business Services in the Shelby GT Mustang. Uchenna against Chris. Winner is Chris. Next, from the Auditor's Office, we have Bill Loy in the Fire Chief van against Derek Jones, BCCIT in the Honda Civic. Bill against Derek. Winner is Bill in a very close race in the Fire Chief van. Next, Jenny Lesniak from Team Homelessness in HSPD in the Aston Martin against Margaret Carper from the Prosecutor's Office in the El Viento Orange. Jenny against Margaret. Winner is Margaret. Next up, Deborah Bellamy from Juvenile Court in the 56 Ford against Norm Carpenter from BCCIT in the SWAT truck. Deborah against Norm. Winner is Deborah. In our next race in round two, Bill Loy from the Auditor's Office in the Speed Box against Jamie Norris from OMB in the Nissan Skyline. Bill against Jamie. Winner is Bill in the Speed Box. Next up, our auditor, Carl Keith in the 71 Dodge Challenger against Eric Schaefer from Juvenile Court in the Time at Taxi. So we've got Carl against Eric. Winner is Eric Schaefer, Juvenile Court. Next up, we have Bruce Barcelo from the Adamus Board in the Camaro against Jessica Abernathy from HSPD in the Mercedes AMG. Bruce against Jessica. Winner is Bruce. For our next race, we have Julia Gurley from Facilities Management in the Chevy Nova against John Payne from Public Health Chronic Disease in the McLaren. Julia against John. Winner is John. For our next race, we have Kevin Stout from the Auditor's Office in the Toyota Supra against against Bethany Cobley Laufenberger from BCCIT in the Nissan 350Z. So we have Kevin from the Auditor's Office against Bethany from BCCIT. Winner is Kevin. Next, we have Mary Pat Globig from HSPD in the Dragon Tail Racer against Justin Stevens from BMV in the Chevy Camaro. Mary Pat against Justin. Winner is Mary Pat. For our next race, we have Doug Thompson from the Adamus Board in the Dodge Daytona against Marcia Baskin from the Recorder's Office in the Leeway Racer. Doug against Marcia. Winner is Doug. For our next race, we have Dan McNeil from BCCIT in the Burgermobile against Larry Section from Adamus in the Carbonator Racer. Dan against Larry. And Dan wins in the Burgermobile. Next, we have Billy Richardson from Municipal Court in the Lamborghini against Doug Thompson, who is back again from Adamus in the Mitsubishi Eclipse. We have Billy against Doug. Winner is Billy. Next up, we have Wendy Hockenberry from Human Resources in the Honda against Jessica Abernathy, who's back from HSPD, this time in a Toyota Supra. Wendy against Jessica. Winner is Wendy. Now we have Helen Can't Catch This Jones Kelly from Adamus in the Honda against Sheriff Rob Streck in the squad patrol car. We have Helen against Sheriff Streck. Winner is Sheriff Streck. Next race, Kevin Stout from the Auditor's Office in the Ford Focus against our auditor Carl Keith in the Chevy Corvette convertible. Kevin against Auditor Carl Keith. Winner is Kevin Stout in the Auditor's Office race. Next up, Margaret Carper from the Prosecutor's Office in the El Viento Yellow against Sarah Fields from JFS Child Support in the Volkswagen Bug. We have Margaret against Sarah. Winner is Margaret. Very close race. Next race, we have Liz Mahar from HSPD in the Plymouth Barracuda against Jim Brandenberger from BCCIT in the Monte Carlo. Liz against Jim. Winner is Liz. So we're getting near the end of round two. We have John Parks from OMB in the Buick Grand National against Jenny Lesniak from HSPD Team Homelessness in the Toyota. John against Jenny. Very close race, we have John Parks. And in the final race of round two, we have Helen Jones Kelly in the 64 Riviera against Rita Harden, Administrative Services in the Acura. So we have Helen against Rita. Winner is Helen. And that completes round 2 of week 2. And now for round 3 and week 2 of the Dayton 500 Race for Education for UNCF. For our first race in round 3, we have Teresa Walker from the Auditor's Office in the Datsun 240Z against Carrie Gray from the County Commission Office in the purple Holden. So we have Teresa against Carrie. Winner is Carrie. Our next race, we have Amanda Wheeler from Education in the Chevy Corvette against Speed Racer Jerry Pegues from HSPD in the Nissan Skyline. Amanda against Jerry. Winner is Jerry. For our next race, we have Chris Williams from Business Services in the Shelby GT Mustang against Bill Loy from the Auditor's Office in the Fire Chief van. Chris against Bill. Winner is Chris. Next up, we have Margaret Carper from the Prosecutor's Office in the El Viento Orange against Deborah Bellamy from Juvenile Court in the 56 Ford. Margaret against Deborah. Winner is Deborah. For our next race, we have Bill Loy from the Auditor's Office in the Speed Box against Eric Schaefer from Juvenile Court in the Time at Taxi. Bill against Eric. Winner is Bill Loy in the Speed Box. Our next race is Bruce Barcelo from the Adamus Board in the Camaro convertible against John Payne from Chronic Disease Prevention, Public Health in the McLaren. So we have Bruce against John. Winner is John. Next up, we have Kevin Stout from the Auditor's Office in the Toyota Supra against Mary Pat Globick from HSPD in the Dragon Tail. So we have Kevin against Mary Pat. Winner is Kevin. And very close race. Next up, we have Doug Thompson from the Adamus Board in the Dodge Daytona against Dan McNeil from BCCIT in the Burger Mobile. Doug against Dan. Winner is Doug. Well, you know, that looks like both cars actually, that's a redo, both cars failed. All right, we're redoing this one because both cars actually failed. Neither of the two were actually on their wheels when they hit the finish line. So we have Dan in lane 1. I'm sorry, Doug in lane 1, Dan in lane 2. Winner is Doug Thompson. For our next race, we have Billy Richardson from Municipal Court in the Lamborghini against Wendy Hockenberry from Human Resources in the Nissan. So Billy against Wendy. Winner is Billy. For our next race, we have Sheriff Rob Streck in the squad patrol car against Kevin Stout from the Auditor's Office in the Ford Focus. Sheriff Streck against Kevin Stout. Winner is Sheriff Streck. Next race, we have Margaret Carper from the prosecutor's office in the yellow El Viento against Les Mehar from HSPD in the Plymouth Barracuda. Margaret against Liz. Winner is Liz. For our final race in round 3, we have John Parks, OMB in the Buick Grand National against Helen Can't Catch This Jones Kelly in the 64 Riviera from Adamus. So we have John in OMB against Helen in Adamus. That's a re-race. We have a flaw in the track. All right. Pit crew has straightened the track out a little. We're going to rerun this one. We have John against Helen. Every once in a while, we have a technical difficulty and we try to get those correct. Make sure we have fair races. So we have John against Helen. Winner is Helen. And that concludes round 3. As we move into round 5, our first race will be Carrie Gray from the County Commission Office in the purple Holden SSV against speed racer Jerry Pegues from HSPD in the purple or in the Skyline. So Carrie against Jerry. The winner is Carrie. For our next race, we have Chris Williams, Business Services in the green Shelby GT Mustang against Deborah Bellamy from Juvenile Court in the 56 Ford Panel Wagon. Chris against Deborah. Winner is Chris. Next up, we have Bill Loy from the Auditor's Office in the Speed Box against John Payne from Public Health Chronic Disease Prevention in the McLaren. Bill against John. Winner is Bill. For our next race, we have Kevin Stout from the Auditor's Office in the Toyota Supra against Doug Thompson from Adamus in the Dodge Daytona. Kevin against Doug. Come from behind win, Kevin. In our next race, we have Billy Richardson from Municipal Court in the Lamborghini against Sheriff Rob Streck in the Squad Patrol Car. So we have Billy Richardson against Sheriff Rob Streck. I'm sorry, pit crew. Winner is Sheriff Rob Streck. Couldn't see that one. It was pretty close. And for our final race in this round, we have Liz Mehar from HSPD in the Plymouth Barracuda against Helen Can't Catch This Jones Kelly in the 64 Riviera from Adamus. So we have Liz against Helen in the final race in this round. Winner is Liz. We're getting close to our final races for this week. And as we move toward those final races, in this race, we have Chris Williams from Business Services in the green Shelby GT Mustang against Bill Loy from the Auditor's Office in the Speed Box. So we have Chris against Bill. Winner is Chris. In our next race, we have Sheriff Rob Strick in the squad patrol car against Liz Mahar from HSPD. So we have Sheriff Strick against Liz Mahar. Winner is Sheriff Rob Strick. So we have now reached the semifinal round in week 2. And in race number 1 of the semifinal bracket, we have Carrie Gray from the County Commission office in the Holden SSV against Chris Williams from Business Services in the green Shelby GT Mustang. So this is a race of the 11th floor occupants in the county administration. Carrie Gray against Chris Williams. In a very close race, we have Carrie Gray as the winner. In the second semifinal race, we have Kevin Stout from the auditor's office in the Toyota Supra against Sheriff Rob Strick in the squad patrol car. So we have Kevin Stout against Sheriff Rob Strick. We have a race over. We had an accident on the track. Pretty significant accident on the track. All right, the pit crew has examined the track. We're going to cue them back up. We have Kevin Stout from the auditor's office against Sheriff Rob Strick. Has the debris been removed from the track? Okay, here we go. Winner is Sheriff Rob Strick. And that will take us into the championship final race. So we've now run all of the races to come down to the final championship race for week number 2. So in the final championship race for week number 2, we have Carrie Gray from the County Commission office in the purple Holden SSV against Sheriff Rob Strick in the squad patrol car. So this race will determine our champion and runner-up for week 2, and both of these cars will advance into the overall championship race at the end of week 4. So with that said, we've got Carrie Gray against Sheriff Rob Strick. And here's the race. And the winner is Carrie Gray. So I want to congratulate our overall champion for week number 2, Carrie Gray from the County Commission office, and our runner-up this week, Sheriff Rob Strick. As I mentioned a minute ago, both of these cars will go to our overall championship race, which will happen at the end of week 4. So I want to thank, again, all of our sponsors who have taken cars, whether they're weekly racers or individual week racers. I also want to thank our track sponsors and sign sponsors. And I want everyone to keep in mind that all the money we're raising through these elimination races in the Dayton 500 goes into our UNCF scholarship fund. We're raising money to provide scholarships to young people who are trying to make their way into and through college. So please continue to keep an eye on the races. If you're not a racer yet, please feel free to join in the fun. We'd love to get our number up more. I think we had 96 or 96 racers this week. It'd be great to break 100 racers in week 3. So thank you, and we'll see you again in week 3 as we continue to raise funds for UNCF through the Dayton 500 and the Scholarship Fund. Thank you.